We have a guest tonight, and his name, I think, is Stephen Sindoni, but he might be Stefan Sindoni. I'm not sure. He's going to tell me. He is, you could say he's an explorer. He explores unsolved mysteries, ancient civilizations. He's got a very curious mind, and he loves making videos, and he's got a website with hundreds of videos where he explains things to you that he's discovered about these ancient mysteries. I thought he was living in a tent on the side of Mount Shasta, and I guess he was at one point. So I welcome to the show, as our guest, Stephen Sindoni. How are you, Stephen?
Thank you, Gordon. Yes, I did live off the side of a mountain. Proud to say so. I came back to New York. My mom was dying and my brother, and I came back to be care providers for both of them, and they're both now crossed over. So that was one of the reasons that brought me back to the East Coast. But in the process, I've been continuously doing research on a number of different topics, and tonight I'd like to discuss one of your topics, which would be ETs, the possibility of life on this planet and other planets with other type of extraterrestrial beings.
Well, I'm really glad that you came on. You said you hadn't listened to my show before. I call myself, the whole general topic of my show is extraterrestrial contact with planet Earth. And I usually try and break things into 4 areas: disclosure of the presence of ETs, pole shift, dimensional change for the Earth, where we will become 4th dimensional and we'll have all these unselfish ET friends that are on the 4th dimension. We'll be able to see them and interact with them. And then the 4th topic is the new race. So you've got disclosure of ETs, you've got pole shift, you've got dimensional change, and then you have the new race of humans that will be living here. And they're us. We're going to reincarnate into them. If we want to stay on Earth and we can reincarnate, we'll reincarnate into those bodies. So when you told me that you had a transcendental experience involving an Indian sweat lodge, I guess that was out west, but I'm not sure. So tell us about that. And as a result of that, you came in contact with Zetas?
Yes, I was up to Tacoma, Washington. I was going to be investigating reports of tall ones and giants and extraterrestrials, starting from Mount Rainier, working my way all the way back to Mount Shasta, as part of my research. And as I went to Tacoma, Washington, I met tribal members from, I guess, the Puyallup tribe and the Nisqually tribe, became friends with, and they invited me to a sweat lodge, Tacoma, Washington. In the 3rd round of the sweat lodge. Now, that gets rather hot, but by the 3rd round, everybody was going into their, I'll say, vision quest or their dream state, and I was no different. I went into mine, and in that 3rd round, I saw in front of me an alien gray. He was short. He was probably about 3.5 foot tall. Just the way they described it, they pictured him in movies, is what he looked like. He had the big eyes, the ant-type head, and immediately when he looked at me, I saw that he was probing me, and I had a problem with that. At that point, opened my eyes and came back out of that dream state, excused myself from that 3rd round of sweating there with the Native Americans who I was sweating with. I went out, had some Gatorade to replenish my fluids because I had lost a lot of water weight from sweating, and I didn't really say anything to anyone at that point. But after leaving, a friend of mine had asked me, why didn't I sweat all 6 rounds? I said, well, I would have, and I explained the story with the alien gray. So then I was talking to a native chief, and what he told me was supposed to tell you the story. And what the story basically was that when there was the flood and the deluge, the alien grays took the Native Americans in inner mountains in the earth and kept them there safe until the water subsided. And when the flood waters subsided, they then brought the Native Americans out to the face of the earth so that way they could live on the outside of the earth again. So he said that what I was experiencing was one of what in biblical terms is called the Watchers, and they were the Watchers that helped the Native Americans get through that devastation in the early days of the flood. So that was my experience with the alien grays and actually seeing one face to face.
They're on the 4th dimension, and I can't normally see them, but I can talk to them telepathically. And I hear what they say, and they usually do things with pictures, but sometimes it just